Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, Attention and ADHD coach Jeff Copper, and we're here today with Dr. Roberto Olivardia. Dr. Olivardia, welcome to the show.
Oh, always a pleasure, Jeff.
You're such a spectacular interview, and you always pay attention to attention. And I heard you talk about before of learning disabilities. If it really should be thought of more of a learning difference, and the fact that many schools are not equipped for those learning differences. Can you talk to us about that a little bit?
Sure. That learning disabilities such as dyslexia, which affects one's reading and writing and spelling, dyscalculia, which affects sort of mathematics, that we see these as disabilities because when somebody isn't getting the sort of right interventions or educations that they need, it can lead to failing grades and low self-esteem. But in actuality, they are more learning differences, that if these children get the proper education, the proper interventions, the proper special ed services, they thrive and they can learn, and it's not that they can't learn. It's more of a disability when you're not giving them the proper tools.
Well, I can speak from experience, and that's the reason I like you so much. Is as a dyslexic myself, my learning style is I have to have the big picture and the function, like how it's all put together and how it works. And if I have that framework, it's so much easier for me to digest that information. But if you give me the details, I really have a hard time similar to the picture. I kind of to like a jigsaw puzzle. I have to see the big picture first, and then I can take the pieces and kind of spread them around and add it together. But if you just give me all the pieces, and I don't know where I'm going with it, it takes me a very long time. It's very, very laborious. And again, that's one of the things that I always bring you on, like whether it's what's OCD and stuff like that, because you always give me a real big sense of what that is. And it's really helpful the way I digest information.
Great. No, I'm glad to hear that. And I think with learning disabilities, there's a lot of misconceptions about it. I mean, like ADHD, actually, there are a lot of myths and misconceptions, especially with something like dyslexia, where people think it's words being read backwards, and that's not what dyslexia is. It's much more complicated than that.
Well, one of the things that I think is what I hope to get out of this is that if you have a learning disability or something like that, don't think of it as a learning disability so much as a learning difference. And as a coach, we spend a lot of time working with people to actually help them begin to see in their head how they organize and process information in their mind. And if you can begin to understand that, then go look for the people that can teach in that manner. It's not an easy feat. I'm not going to tell you it's a piece of cake, but if you know what you're looking for, it's a lot easier to find it.
Absolutely. And as a parent, my son has dyslexia, and as a parent, just as a message to parents out there, is to educate yourself and advocate for your child. And it can be very tough. It can be very challenging for a lot of school systems that some school systems don't recognize dyslexia and other learning differences. They'll say, oh, it'll pass. It's just a phase. Parents have heard this for many, many times. So trust your instincts, get educated. And it's hard to sometimes go into these IEP meetings, talking to the teachers and all that, and I have parents bring an advocate, bring the child's therapist. I've been to IEP meetings on behalf of my patients because that child needs to get the education that they deserve. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Everybody, we hope you've enjoyed this. Subscribe to Attention Talk Video at the button below, and we'll catch you next week for another great edition. Take care.
Take care.